And now we got Travis Johns in the other room. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right. So let me lower this down. And whenever you are ready, feel free to perform.
Right, I will perform the music for you the now.
All right. So that was Travis Johns, and we'll bring him in here and talk to him about what he just did there. Anyway, we're here with Jen Cutler and Travis Johns.
Yeah, that's me.
All right. And Travis, why don't you tell people a little about yourself first?
All right. Where do we want to begin?
Well, you do a lot of stuff.
Okay, I make stuff. I do stuff. I live here.
You live here in Ithaca?
I do.
What kind of stuff do you make?
So I guess to wheel it back, whatever. Hello, Radioland. My name. Yes. My name is Travis Johns. I am. I've been in Ithaca now for about a year and a half. Before that, I was in Baltimore. Before that, Costa Rica. Before that, California. Before that, I don't know. But if
you don't know,
if you rewind fast enough, I actually grew up in the Hudson Valley, about 3 hours east of here, or whatever.
Okay.
But I have been building, I guess, electronic devices for about the past decade or so. Under the company name is Vox Flores, but people also seem to think it's either my name or the name I perform under, and I've given up trying to correct people, so...
What's the name you perform under?
I don't.
Oh.
I mean, it's just my name at this
That's
point.
what I thought.
Yeah. No, and it's kind of always been the way. Like, when I was in California, I was playing under the name Vessels, like VSLS for a second, which now I guess, I think when last time I did a Google search for it, it was like some sort of like weird MS-13 associated like gang symbol or whatever. So it's like, not going back to that one. But that was largely because I was... at the time, I was playing in kind of the Bay Area noise scene where everybody had weird names like Necrotic, Spider, like whatever. Right. And then it's like, I'm trying to, keep it clear and classy, get a job, and then you do a Google search or whatever, because that's how people decide if you're a good person or whatever. It's like, oh, what's up with the Necrotic Spider dance band, and why is your name attached to that? But since then, I mean, whatever.
That's what a pseudonym is for.
Yeah. I guess that's what the Vox Flores would be. It's like, well, he doesn't know any better. Let's just give him the other name, just so he doesn't ruin it for himself. But, at this point, though, I spent 20 minutes on the radio doing terrible things to a bass, so, I have
How
no
do you
shame
describe
all
what you create?
What I create? I'd like to think that it's a kind of just extended technique-free improvisation, but that's just the polite way of saying just a whole bunch of noise.
All right.
No, I like kind of just exploring sounds as opposed to like either harmony or melody, and I don't know. I never really have the attention span to actually do something that I've thought about before I start playing. So.
Can you describe what you've done to your bass, what you have attached to your bass?
Yeah. So, to rewind a couple minutes before, or a minute or whatever it is. So the devices that I build, I've just built this new thing called the Isolator. It's not that new. I've actually been making it in some form or another since probably like 2014ish or whatever. But the latest iteration is just this. Basically it's a circuit board that's also a synthesizer. So like there's no case or anything, and its main intention, it's kind of the thought is to have it be kind of a STEM-based project for middle schoolers. I'm hoping that as my kid gets older, it'll be
what a great thing for middle schoolers to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you could either do, it's like, this is a STEM project where, look, you put the switch and the light turns on. Mm-hmm. Isn't that cool? Or, hey, you can have this little computer and look, you can play the video game from when I was a kid. And it's like, whatever, I play Fortnite.
Right.
I hooked my friend's nostrils up to the switch when in 4th grade, and I flipped the switch. Yeah, it was fun.
Oh man.
I got in a lot of trouble.
Kids these days, they're not that creative. So the thought is like, it's like, well, here's a project that just makes a whole bunch of weird noise. It's not intuitive. Like, just have it be a whatever.
He still can't grow nose hairs.
Whew. How does he smell?
Terrible.
Horrible. Oh. So anyway, it's a weird kind of synthesizer made out of like simple chips. Like, I think there's like 11 parts altogether. But the thing that it's built around is actually a telephone ringer, like an old chip where basically you would put in a voltage to it and go between high and low in 2 different tones. Except if you start running and moving frequencies to it, then it starts like, just doing really weird modulating whatever type things. It's controlled all by photoresistors, so just light sensitive.
That's the best part.
So I had 2 of those taped to the bass, so it's like, all right, well, this is not making a cool sound. I wonder what's on this channel. So then, try to kind of control the lights. So as I was playing, was kind of trying to move the bass either into the light or out of the light, or creating shadows and doing weird Doctor Strange shadow puppety things as you realize it's like if you wiggle your what finger is this? I guess ring finger. Yeah. just enough, like it changes the shadow. Or it's like, okay, high, low, high, low, high, low. So that's what was attached to the bass. But at the same time, it was I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cables hanging off of that thing.
Yeah.
Which I mean that is neither efficient nor comfortable. So. So yeah, that's
You're
what I
not
do.
jumping around. You can hold on to it.
For somebody who played an entire set on a Metal Shonen armchair, specifically chosen for this looks comfortable and distinguished. I'd like to think I had some movement. I mean,
You do.
So Jen,
Yeah.
you have. I have no idea how long I've even known you for at this point.
It's a long time.
Yes, and I don't even remember how we first met. I don't know if it was Choose or something before that.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
all right.
know.
But we brought you up here when you lived in Germany, and that was, we're thinking like 2007.
Yeah, it might have been more like 2008, 2009.
It could have been. It could have been.
But sure.
In
Sounds
that
like 10 years
about
ago.
a decade ago.
That's bananas.
And you're just doing solo stuff now. Choose is no more.
Choose has been in the past for a long time now. I think we broke up in I think like 2011.
Okay.
So
You know, it could
been a
have
while.
even been that late that we brought you up, like 2010, 2011 too.
yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
I'll look it up when I get home. Figure it out.
So what do you want to try and describe what you're doing now?
Sure. So the performance that I've been working on lately and that I just performed an iteration of is called Thank You for Listening. And it's a series of improvisations and compositions written for an instrument that I built called Line, which is a hacked vibrator turned synthesizer. The very quick, nerdy rundown is it's a sine wave generator that plays through a transistor with applied voltage for the motor, and then it gets picked up with a set of guitar pickups as electromechanical interference and comes out through some pedals to try to make it more palatable. But for people who are not super technically inclined, it's basically a keyboard that instead of playing out of a speaker plays out of a vibrator, and the guitar pickups will pick it up like a microphone even if it's inside of your body.
Which is what you did.
That is what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think people got the effect if they were just listening.
Yeah, it doesn't really translate, I think.
The pickups on the faceplate.
Yeah,
We're
there's
picking
like
up
a pick guard.
because you were moving it towards you, and it was changing the frequency.
Yeah, it's really responsive. Just even the angle of the pickups. If you change the angle, it's a totally different timbre. So a lot of room for experimentation.
And you have a cassette tape.
I do. I ran out just now.
Oh, did I get your last one?
Yeah, the last two. But I think you can get downloads from Never Anything Records.
Oh, okay. Is that like your thing or?
They're based in Portland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, never met them in person.
Oh.
They just send me cassettes. They're very nice.
That's some of my closest friends. That's our relationship. I've never met them. They just send me cassettes.
Yeah.
Send me cassettes, and it works out.
Still trading tapes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yours definitely qualifies as performance art.
Okay.
I think
good.
it-
Yeah, and yours
Both
does too.
do.
All right. Finally.
Finally, was that your goal? Was it a secret goal that you just made an achievement on?
Did I unlock that feature?
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
No, I don't know. I mean,
All right.
I guess I just don't give it much thought. It's just one of the things I do.
Tell us about your pedals. that you make?
Sure. So, I randomly kind of got lucky in the fact that like I was building pedals, at least when I first started, that maybe weren't so good, but people started paying attention. How it started was, so I was living in California. She was girlfriend then, but now is his wife. I was a Fulbright scholar, so part of her scholarship was her visa was revoked and she had to go back to her home country of Costa Rica. I said, I have really no reason to be in California. Like, it's not like I really have, a career to worry about or anything like that. So I decided to quit my job and move down there and just not do what I was doing before and just concentrate on art and music and everything. So realized that, like, due to import tariffs, like, guitar pedals in Costa Rica were just like really expensive. We're talking like, the thing, like, say for instance, like a Boss DS1, which normally you can find used in the States for like $30. I mean, was like in excess of 200.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, nuts. I mean, there was a 30% markup, like, because of the import tariffs, and then you have to mark it up to compensate for the import tariffs. I mean, it was crazy. And so
They're a dime a dozen here.
yeah, and so the other thing is, like, in Costa Rica, one of their largest exports is actually electronic components. So it's the type of thing where if you knew what you were looking for, you could go to these electronic shops where they just had like surplus from like, all these factories or whatever. You get the stuff for a song. So I realized, like, you couldn't get aluminum boxes. Like, metal boxes were hard to get. You couldn't get stomp switches. So it was basically just like getting enough cash to like go to the States, ordering like a whole bunch of like metal boxes and switches, and then going to Costa Rica and building them. And like I designed like, just like research schematics and like, like wanted to build like what I wanted to build. Like, this is my dream pedal, yada yada. Which was essentially a clone of an Ampeg Scrambler with an extra kind of internal feedback loop in it. So it's kind of gated and clippy and weird and feedbacky and ring moddy or whatever, and built 10 of them, put them on the Costa Rican equivalent of Craigslist, and like this is my whatever. And before I even sold one, some guy's like, "Hey man, can you build me this?" I was
Nice.
like, "Oh really?" So I did that for 2 years, for the 2 years I lived down there, and then when I moved back to the States, ended up in Baltimore and had an institutional job there, and just was kind of building or whatever, and then just got a call randomly, and one day it's like, "Hi, this is so and so from Guitar Player Magazine." I'm like, "No, you're not." It's like, no, we are. We saw your stuff on a blog. We think it's pretty crazy. Like, we want to review it all. So it's like, okay, I will, put this stuff in a shoebox and send it to you. And then a couple months later, it was actually the same week that my daughter was born. Like, the magazine arrives in the mail, and it's a 4-page like review of this stuff, and it was a pretty good review. It's like, you build crazy stuff and it's cool. And like, I started getting like just like a couple like like nasty grams from like blues rock players in Cleveland. He's like, "Yeah, your demos aren't in tune, send one to me and I'll give you a real demo." It's like, all right, is this the can of worms that opened up? And then
Yeah, like you need somebody playing a pentatonic scale through one of your pedals.
yeah, because it's like, no, it makes it sound like that. That's a feature. But then the real kind of thing that had to take off was I was working this late shift because the school that I was working at, like, it was a commuter school, so like somebody had to just be there until like 9 or 10 or whatever. Got this random email and it was like info at, and like, it's just the usual like, "Hey, I like your stuff," or whatever. You're gonna receive an email from this person asking for a quote, give it to them or whatever, and like, these are the ones that I want. I'm like, all right, this is unusual, like, let's see who this is. And I just kind of like right clicked it and see the rest of it, clicked in the email or clicked in the other web address, and it was Andy Summers from The Police.
What?
Wow.
And like, just like he personally reached out to me. It's like, I want these things. I'm like, okay, cool. It's like, wow, that's cool. And didn't think anything of it. And then like, next thing you know, like, oh, what happened? It was just, he put out this record. I guess it was like solo guitar stuff, because of course that's what he would do. And like in every interview, it's like, "Yeah, you have this crazy sounds. Like, what's your secret?" And then he was like, "Well, I got this pedal called a 23 from this builder in Baltimore." And like, apparently like there's a lot of guitar people who like will like follow everything he does, because I just almost said it. I'll say it anyway. Every little thing he does is magic. Yeah, so I mean, that ended up being like a good couple years of just like steady sales.
Wow.
Like from this. So I'm grateful to him, but so
Of the 23?
of the 23, which I actually don't make anymore. But then when I moved up here, I realized, like, so when I first started building, I was building because, like, I was in a foreign country and I had all the time in the world, and, like, and I didn't really have the resources. Like, I can only get the circuit boards made in a certain way. I can only get the boxes a certain way. And then because I've just been building one after the other just to fill orders, I never kind of updated my build procedure until I realized, like, wait a second, like, my kid no longer naps. I have no time to build this. Like, what am I going to do to, like, actually, like, have this still be viable? So I took a year off and, like, just kind of, like, sold off what I had and just, started just really learning, like, actual, like, circuit design and how to kind of automate things. And go figure. Ithaca is actually a good place if you have questions about electrical engineering and all of that to do this. The town has a bit of a history.
Yeah.
And just now, actually, later this month, we'll be releasing, I guess, the first, like, new design, like, from Ithaca Design, which is
Nice.
going to be called the DOS Wave, because it's the second version of a pedal I did called the Moss Wave. So instead of Moss Wave 2, DOS or whatever. And again, built off of this silly telephone ringer chip that I was talking about earlier, and a very high gain, kind of modulate-y, kind of weird. Like, you probably don't want to use it to play blues. It's not transparent. It will make your guitar. It was the one, the prototype you saw was the one with the floppy disk epoxy to it.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
We're still figuring out the artwork for it. We've gotten it small enough to the point where now it's a compact flash card or whatever. But I think when it finally comes to the artwork, it's probably going to be, I don't know, a penguin or something completely unrelated.
I
but
like the disc on there.
the disc is cool. It's just I only have so many of those.
Now they're hard
Partially
to find.
having, like, the reason I was putting the disc on it was
Somebody
to
has a stash somewhere. I
probably.
bet you
Yes.
buy
Oh
on
man, there's
eBay
probably
or
a stack
something.
somewhere,
Yeah?
like, like down in my office or whatever. But no.
Wait, what size floppies?
So, like, it was originally I was doing the 3, what is it? Is it 2.5, 3.5? Whatever. The
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah, okay.
Issue is, it's like, so to, like, get a potentiometer to go through, like, a disc, like, you actually end up having to, like, take the disc apart like, in half or whatever. And for the prototype, I was using just normal potentiometers that you just kind of screw on, and there's, like, little solder lugs and everything that you wire. In order to build faster, I started using board-mounted potentiometers. So you just kind of drop them in, you solder them, and they're attached to the board. They're shorter than, like, the normal ones, so I can't use them in the floppy anyway.
I was going to say I had piles of them.
Oh boy, well,
Use jumpers.
the deluxe edition.
Use jumpers.
So you teach
Maybe.
you teach people how to do this as well?
Yeah, actually. And I guess that's a plug for anybody who's actually listening right now. It's like, wow, that's a cool story. I should follow up on this. I've been teaching workshops, actually, because I realized I like meeting the people who play my stuff because they tend to be interesting people. Case in point, Fidget.
Right.
Oh!
That workshop was awesome.
Yeah.
And I love that pedal. It's been on my board for a while now.
And instead of just kind of making stuff and putting it in the mail and, like, having people every once in a while, like, write a review or whatever, to actually meet them and, like, talk about ideas, and also to get the ideas, like, I've always wanted something that can do this. It's like, I'm listening. So yeah, on April 20th, to celebrate the wonderful holiday of 420, which is, as we know, the day before Easter. Like, I'm doing a synthesizer workshop in town at the Ithaca Generator, and then after that, the week after that, one in Baltimore, and then, like, I think, what is it, in June, I'm doing a couple in California, and I don't know.
Where can people follow you so they can get this information?
I guess that would be the website, wouldn't it? The internet. Have you heard of
the
it?
internet.
Yes. Voxflores.com. That's spelled VAUXFLORES.com, and has to be the VAUX because if you just did VOX and you work with audio technology, there's a company in England that will send their lawyers after you. Or at least that's what I think will happen. I didn't even want to take the risk.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Yeah.
Smart to avoid it from the start.
Yeah, exactly right.
So, Jen, do you have anything coming up you want to plug?
That's a really good question. I think my next workshop will be motor control, electromechanical interference, and for those who are interested, vibrator hacking. And it's in Boston, June 22nd, so it's a little bit of a ways out.
Yeah, but we have listeners everywhere.
And there's also a show attached.
Okay.
I'm gonna just check what the details are because I don't remember. Let's see. I'll plug Greyhaven Motel.
Okay.
I'm a artist resident there right now.
Okay.
They put on some amazing programs.
And where is it?
It is in Ithaca,
Oh, okay. Okay.
somewhere. I'm not from around here. I don't.
Elmira Road.
Elmira Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of the many workshops that they've put on, other than Jen's workshop today, I guess one of their more popular ones is their DIY taxidermy workshop they offer.
Huh. Okay.
So if you ever wanted to learn how to stuff a squirrel, and also stay in the scenic Finger Lakes,
Why
you know,
not combine those things and have,
You can play a stuffed squirrel.
Yes, have the eyes do something and the hands.
maybe.
And seriously,
You know, I was
do
so
some photo sensors on that thing.
Now
So
that could go wrong quickly.
I
Or
played
right.
I
That
played this
sounds
festival
really right.
in England a couple years ago, and was at an after party at this bar where there was just this one just like beer company or whatever. They just had really strange names of their of their liquor, or whatever, or their bottles. Where the first one was just like, oh yes, would you like a Dead Pony show? I'm like, yes, I would love a Dead Pony show. It's like, what else do they have in this line? It's like, oh, they have Tactical Nuclear Penguin. I'm like, that sounds cool too. It's like, and then there's the End of History. I'm like, okay, tell me about the End of
Mind
History.
eraser.
I think I've had a couple of those myself.
The End of History. So I think it's the End of History. It's like this Scottish beer where like it's like, I guess it's distilled beer. Like they get it up to like something like ridiculous, like 60%, but beer based,
Whoa.
and it is only served in taxidermied bottles. So it's basically it's a squirrel with a bottle sticking out of its mouth. And that's the only way we can get it. They didn't have it there,
fantastic.
but it's like this is some of the more surreal things I've seen.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure.
Whoa.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Jen, where can people follow you online if they want to know what's coming up?
You can check jencutler.com. That's JENKUTLER. Yeah, or on social media somewhere. Jen Cutler.
Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
Faceagram, Instabook.
SoundCloud?
Yeah, SoundCloud. SoundCloud.com/Jen Cutler. Yeah.
Anything else you can think of? Twitter?
I never really understood the Twitter.
Me either. I don't get it at all.
I've slowly adapted to the Twitter because so many people use it.
Huh. Yeah, I know. I can do a lot of hacking and circuit bending and microcontroller programming, but I have no idea how to use my smartphone, so I'm a little behind.
All right, so I looked it up. Choose, you as Choose played here October 2nd, 2009.
Okay.
So just under 10 years ago.
Wow.
And there are like 3 songs up on YouTube. But you never titled your songs?
No, I didn't.
They were just numbers.
I was very stubborn.
You hinted that the numbers meant something.
That sounds like me.
So did they not mean anything?
I don't remember, honestly.
All right, fine.
I think they were the order in which I wrote them, honestly.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah.
A lot of bands do that.
Yeah?
Yeah, and then I've had one band, a black metal band out of Rochester. They handed me a playlist with numbers, and I'm like, "Really, guys?" And they're like, "Oh, crap, right."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess to close this off, we could hear something from Choose.
Oh my God. All right.
I got 33,
Don't judge me.
35, 27, 16, 31, 13, 1, and 36.
I suppose I should say you haven't heard my old band, so.
Wait. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
We got 35, 33, 27, 16, 31, 13, 1, and 36.
Let's do 1.
All right. So this would be the first song you ever wrote?
In that band.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What band were you in before that?
I don't want to get anything that came before like college age. I don't want to get
All
into.
right. Okay. All right. So this is Choose with 1. And again, jencutler.com. And Vox, is it?
Flores.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Making sure it was a Vox. I didn't know if it was Vox or Vow.
I mean, however you want to pronounce
Oh.
it. It's a made-up word.
Fair enough.
As long as you know how to spell it.
Thank you both for coming up and playing.
Thanks so much for having
Thank
us.
you.
You're
This
welcome
was a
back.
blast.
You're welcome back anytime.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thanks.